All right, guys, I'm back from Nats. It was a great time, and I'll go over how people did, what decks won, what I got by the end of it. It was a great event as a whole, though. The speed duel guys who showed up were awesome. There was plenty of new faces, seeing lots of new winners, and even some speed duels players doing well in the main event and in Time Wizard events. So the speed duels player base is actually very much more talented than you'd ever assume. Is all I really learned this weekend. But let's get into those deck lists and how the events went. All right, first things first, we have to give a shout out to Dank Memes on the Discord. He's an amazing player, great deck builder, and thanks to him, people like him, this community has, the breakdowns on the Discord like this. So first of all, for the main event series, which was on Sunday, there was total 24 players. We have a top 8 after Swiss. First place was Dark Magician. Second was a Flip Control deck. Third, Dark Magician Amazon. Fourth, Dice. Fifth, Dice Ojama. Sixth, Coin. Seven, Ishizu Volcanic. And eighth, Ishizu Fairy. This was after Swiss. So the interesting thing about this event was we asked every round, it was 5 rounds, if there was going to be a top cut. They told us no, every single round. So after we were done, this Dark Magician player was not happy for a very good reason when they told us we have to do a top cut. So after we did the top 8 with our top cut, he ended up getting third or fourth place because that's kind of how the top cut works. It's kind of the same pricing. And he was a phenomenal player, a great deck builder, and he was kind of ripped off in the final hour. Um, but at the final standings, we had Coin dominate again, even way past its prime. Dice got second, very good Dice list. Then the guy who went undefeated in Swiss for Dark Magician got third or fourth, and then the Flip Control got third or fourth. So let's go over their deck list now. The the Coin deck is pretty straightforward. What I find interesting about this is not playing any other dinosaurs, just playing the main 3. This player is incredibly talented with the deck. He really knows how to use his enemy controllers, and showed us why this card deserves to be on the 3 list, at least for me. He plays deck very well. It's a very interesting one-for-one kind of deck. He just wanted to knock me out of the top 8 by summoning a Barrel Dragon, tributing my monster with Dogoron, summoning his own, enemy controller tribute his Dogoron for his other Dogoron, and beat me up just like that. Absolutely phenomenal play. He has interesting side deck cards, which are Waking the Dragon, which I think is a pretty easy cheeseball card. Breakthrough Skill, which I thought was super interesting to see this card see some play again. Night Beam is an easy one. And then Necro Valley. I'm not sure why he did it, but he said it was for exchange and possibly some other degenerate strategies. Then we have the second place Dice deck. He was playing the Four-Armed Dragon package, the Melodies, plus White Veil, which is very good because of the Snipe Hunter stuff. The coolest part of his deck was the Joker's Knight. Joker's Knight, you have to send King's Knight from deck to grave to special from hand. This does help solve Snipe Hunter's problem of having nothing on follow-up. Because even when he's in graveyard, you can return King's Knight on your opponent's end phase back to your own deck to add him from grave to hand, which gives Snipe Hunter either another bullet or it gives you just bush beatdown follow-up. It was just a phenomenal call, and one of the cooler interactions was that Snipe Hunter could put King back into the deck so that Joker's Knight is still live. It was a phenomenal call. We have one mistake on this deck. Hold on, I'll fix that right now. Yeah, here we go. So I accidentally made the mistake of saying he had 3 Sphere Creepos. He was actually siding a second Medora, siding 2 Sphere Creepos, siding 2 Hammers, and siding Awakening. It's a pretty straightforward list. Except for this Face Knight stuff. It was an awesome call on his end. Then for third place, we have the undefeated in Swiss deck, the Dark Magicians. He played this guy right here. I forget his name. But he has the ability, whenever he dies, you can add Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. So he said it was really good for him. I'm glad it was. He was playing 2 Tribe as 2 of his 3 of choices, which was really strong. He was maining 4 Dark Magician spell cards. That is significantly more than I would have ever played, but it worked for him very well, it looks it. He was maining 1 Mind Crush, siding the other 2, siding the Medora, and then playing these awesome stun lockout cards. He did phenomenal this weekend. And a shout out to him. And then we had this super interesting. I love all these crazy decks that come out this weekend. This flip control deck was so crazy. All right, so you use the Desert Peril skill, which lets you flip a monster down and up twice in a game, and on separate turns. He was abusing Decoichi to get extra draws. He'd burn you for half your life points at the beginning of the game. This chick will burn you for 800 more later. You have the Lava Golem for more. It was just a phenomenal burn strategy with stall elements and abusing Desert's Peril in a way we haven't seen before. And that's not even to stop. This guy was playing Penguin Soldier. What an absolute menace. That Penguin Soldier is a flabbergastedly strong high school card if you were old enough for then. Um, it can return 2 monsters in the field, including itself, and it just abuses the crap out of your opponent, especially if you're stunning him with other cards. It was just a phenomenal deck build. The crazy stuff he was playing was 2 Malevolent Catastrophes. I don't know why. It had to have been so beneficial, considering how many other back row decks were at this event, even though I personally would have never expected it. And here's the rest of the top 8 decks, the ones that were eliminated in the first round. This was my list for the weekend, for which was Amazon, Dark Magician. So I recognize that Dark Magician has a problem with having normal summon and follow up, so I decided to use the Amazon stuff. And shout out to Dank Memes on the Discord for his awesome deck building prowess for this idea. Anywho, I went with 6 Karibos because I had a large deck list anyway. I was playing a 1 of Spirit Reaper, kind of as a joke, but it ended up coming in clutch against the Fairy player because I was able to whittle his hand down when he was trying to stall me. Witch of the Black Forest I was using here as a spellcaster for Magic Karibo, and it means to get either the Amazon engine, Fossil Dynapachycephalo, or the Karibos. And then I was using the Amazon spells. I opted for the Equip spell because I thought it was a good way to start killing monsters. I was playing One United We Stand. The reason behind this was I felt Magic Karibo sucks. If you lose the damage, you're supposed to, rebound and get Dark Magician. So if you swing for 4,000, it does nothing. So this was more of an anti-Dark Magician card. Then the 1 of Onslaught and Awakening the Dragon. I was playing a bunch of Hate for Spell Trap cards, and then 2 more for Armed Dragon variants. This deck was super cool. Now, it's hard to stress the fact that this guy was on Exchange of Spirits, Earth Fairy, proper Ishizu deck, not using Mirage of Nightmare. He was utilizing Kelbic to maintain board control and then beat his opponent up. And he was playing this as more of an aggressive style versus how we see as our predicted skills being more about deck out. It was a very interesting list. He played it very well. What was interesting here for me, at least, was he was siding a Max C. That was a crazy option for me. I don't know if he saw a play of it. I think he was expecting something more. But when I played against him, it was an awesome game, and his deck very much so impressed me. We have yet another absolutely phenomenal, innovative list in a volcanic Exchange of Spirit strategy. This player was trying to use elements of burn, control, stun, and with the ability to deck flip your opponent. It was awesome to see it play. I love the innovation here. So he would often go for the Tri-Blaze Accelerator to go for point damage with the burn. Because that's the key difference between Tri-Blaze and Blaze Accelerator, is that whenever he destroys a monster with Tri-Blaze Accelerator, they take 500 burn damage. So he'd often set Koala and burn you for a bunch, and then blow up all your monsters with the Blaze Accelerator and the shells, and keep recycling shells and keep getting more shots in. It was awesome to see this deck. He has Spell Trap Destruction, a Monster Destruction, and some Lava Golems for extra burn damage. I think this deck was one of the coolest of that weekend. And then we have another solidly awesome deck. We have Ojama Dice. I don't know what's more old school than Snipe Hunter with Oja Magic, but this guy did it. It was he had a phenomenal run. It was super interesting. Hilariously, he was not playing any fusion stuff to even go into the Ojama King or Ojama Knight. He was just beating the crap out of him. And when I asked him about Ojama Red, he said the main purpose of this was so that if he had to summon it off Oja Match, he could jump all the Ojamas in his hand and block 3 attacks, which I thought was a super cool idea. Then in the side deck, he was playing some Crows, I'm assuming for the Mirror Breakthrough skill. which is awesome to see play in Wabaku. And that wraps up for the Giant. This was the main event series, which is a Swiss event with Top Cut. And next, we go back to the Giant card, which was held on Saturday, that had 32 players. We have the final standing. I only managed to get the top 3 deck lists, but here are the top 8 decks of the bracket. First place took it was Dark Magician. Second place was Amazon. Third, Coin, and fourth, a Dark Magician again. 5th through 8 were Dark Magician, Red Eyes, Heart of a Warrior, Exchange, and Dark Magician. It looks like Dark Magician is seeing incredible representation and doing very well. So let's go into these deck lists. This is the winner of the event. He was playing 3 Dark Magician, 3 Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. The reason for his Pachycephalo choice was he figured in the mirror match, Dark Magician, one of the ways you can play into it, the strategy safely, is by not summoning monsters overextending early, so that way they have to use their normal summon to protect yourself from a Dark Magician summon and blowout. So he was bullying them with Fossil Dyna, which checks Magikaribo, which checks Dark Magician, and beat him up as long as he could, and then beat him up afterward. Because if they destroy Fossil Dyna, he could summon his own Dark Magician to have incredible follow-up. And even going Dark Magician into his own Fossil Dyna, he could bully his opponent almost completely if it was a mirror match. He was playing 1 Medora, 2 Sphere, and 1 Tribe Infecting Virus, which is an amazing pick. Then he was, because this helps kill one of the problems with this deck is it has a hard time climbing big monsters. He was playing 2 Allure of Darkness, 2 Book of Moon, some Dark Magician spells, and more Monster Out. In the side, he was playing 2 Breaker, a Medora, a second Medora, more spell and trap removal, and 2 Mind Crush. Absolutely phenomenal list. And shout out to this player. Second place, holy moly, an Amazon list with a skill that I haven't read in 5 years. Room for Growth says, during your main phase, you can increase the attack of 1 level 3 or lower monster you control by 300 times its level until the end of this turn. Flips card over the end of at the end of the turn, after this effect. Oh my. So what was interesting about this was it turns Amazon Princess into a 2100, which helps her climb over all kinds of stuff. And also push for heaps of damage. It turns into just an outright beater. And then, so from there, we go from the Queen into 2 Scouts. Scouts, I think, was a Snipe Hunter dodge, and it was also a very interesting monster to summon off of Princess because it's useful in defense on your opponent's turn. Then we have Amazon's Tiger, which forces opponents to attack it instead. Then we have this incredible tech choice of Calcifata, which, if he destroys any of his monsters, he can summon Calcifata to send Medora. And Medora is huge for this deck because you can recycle the other limited and semi-limited cards back into the deck, so you're not out of the game after Onslaught leaves. They have to deal with it again. He's then playing 3 Sphere, which makes sense because this would rather run into a defense monster than an attack monster. 2 of the Rhoda. This card lets him swap the points of 2 monsters in the field that he chooses, which allows him to climb over big monsters like Armed Dragon. Then he was playing 3 Sol and Luna, which is an amazing card in Amazon because more often than not you'll have a monster normal summon if you go first, normal summon Princess, set a Sol Luna, and you have to add a spell or trap. And then on their turn you can protect her and then continue playing very well on your next turn. In his side he had 2 Fossil Dyna, 2 Night Beam, and 2 Mind Crush. And then for our third place, we had the same coin player from that won the main event. So it was an interesting list all around. To me, I think the big notable mentions is that Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo was incredibly represented and very strong. I think it's worth mentioning that Dark Magician is possibly the best deck of the format. I think that we have so much to explore in the Exchange of Spirit into the future builds. And I am so excited going to this next format of Speed Duel. So for the first deck I played, this was on Friday, and all the winning mats I tried for Speed, I was playing Dank Memeses from the Discord. I was playing his Dark Armed Dragon list. So it centers around using Allure of Darkness with plenty of dark targets to get into your Melody of Awakened Dragons a lot quicker, and you just beat the crap out of them. You also use Heart of a Warrior skill that also as a means to discard Armed Dragon and push your opponent. I I did rather well with this list. I did not take any of the Winamats. I lost in the finals in the second one I played in. This was the deck I took into the Giant card. I was playing a stall deck with Exchange of Spirits, and I hope to get some people on this one. Unfortunately, when I sat down and looked left and looked right, everyone was on an Exchange variant. Maybe because Mirage of Nightmare ended up being the Giant card of the day, or maybe because I've got terrible luck. So my round one, I had a buy. No, I played against a Dark Magician player. And I got to just set. I didn't set a monster. I just kept passing as Dark Magician couldn't do anything. And then I set him win Karibo, and I won eventually just by flipping his deck. It was kind of a lame way to win, but if I'm playing stall, that's how stall wins. Then my round two, I played against the Red Eyes Heart of a Warrior player, which possibly could have been the absolute worst matchup I could have had at this event, given how many back row I was playing. And he just popped them all like it was his only job, which it was, and he beat the crap out of me. So that ended my aspirations for the Giant card rather quickly by round two. Now for my Amazon list, I showed this earlier. I made top 8. I ended up placing third in Swiss. My matchups had first round was a bye. Second round, I forget. It was a long day. The deck that ended up beating me, I went undefeated until round 4. Round 4, I lost to the flip control deck. It just beat the crap out of me. I needed to see a Magic Karibo, but then I fell victim of running my own 30-card deck. I played against the Volcanic control deck. It was a very good match. I sat down, nothing but scared. This was, I think, in round 3. And I had to just... My game 2, I just let him cook himself with his own Mirage of Nightmare. He was drawing 4 every turn. I summoned a Kaiku, and I let him mill himself out. I felt that was the safest way to try to win because I didn't know what he was doing. And I was just... Mirage of Nightmare does have that weakness. And then my final round was against the Ishizu player, the Ishizu Fairy player. And it was an awesome match until I learned how good Breaker was, popping a back row, attacking into Kelbic, which resets my Breaker, which lets me summon Dark Magician. And then I just kept doing that until he had nothing left. Like I said earlier, I turned my Spirit Reaper into attack mode. I took away his hand as much as I could. And then it was a pretty easy cleanup from there. Into the top cut, I played against the winner who was on Coin. Game 1, I misplayed. Game 2 was a very good game. And then Game 3, I opened exactly these 4 cards. He summoned his Barrel Dragon, popped my Fossil Dyna. I summoned Calcifata. He tributes my Calcifata for Dogoran, gets his own Dogoran. Enemy controllers his Dogoran for the new Dogoran, and then beat me up. So he wins that one rather easily. Shout out to him. He's a good player. I mean, you can't be mad against an OTK deck when you get OTK'd. But that was my run for Speed Duels over the weekend. On Friday, I actually let my buddy borrow my Edison deck, my Machina Gadget deck. Ooh, well, shut up. This is my pet deck from when I was a kid. And when Edison came out, I built this several years ago. I haven't touched it since. So I lent it to my buddy on Friday to play it in one of the Edison pods. Him getting second place, losing to Gladiator Beasts. I took this in on Saturday to a pod. I ended up winning in the final against Gladiator Beasts. This was the extent of my weekend for gameplay. Except I played in the main event, and I played the 2013 Blue Eye Structure deck. I basically entered that just to lose. I wanted the mat and sleeves, and I'll show you all the other fun stuff I got over the weekend. So I get my invite for Advanced every year, just about, just to get the sleeves and the mat. I finally completed a long-term goal of mine, which was to fill a binder page full of Nats mat sleeves that I have gotten. I collect all my prizes, so that was cool. Then this is the final event to cash in the UDS points, which is something I didn't even know was a thing. Really, I guess it ran from 2014 to 2019. If you did well in Premier events, you can get these little pins, these humongous pins, and lanyard. It was weird stuff to get in the final hour of the event. My buddies told me, hey, go get this shit so we can leave after you're done with the main event. But it was an absolutely good weekend. Back to speed duel stuff. I got to meet some of my close teammates. Where is it? It's in one of these. So my buddy Shadowy Flame on the Discord. We took a picture with him with his giant card Mirage of Nightmare. This is two of the best players in speed duels, in my opinion, or two of them. Great test partners, a great crew, and everyone did great this weekend. I know. The other buddy that I practiced speed with, he got his invite for 2026, playing Malice. I had a blast. I have enough tickets for an oversized card now, and Shadowy Flame from the Discord, he won the giant card. So it was an absolutely good weekend for everyone that I personally play with, and I hope to see you guys at YCS Pittsburgh. That's where I plan to be next for major events. Take it easy, and thanks for tuning in.